Hi all, welcome to the Prevention and Control Knowledge class of Channel Education Satellite TV. I'm the publicist of Prevention and Control Knowledge. At present, the province's epidemic prevention and control situation is tending to be stable. However, we must not take this issue lightly as the situation is still very complicated. We must stay vigilant and make the best preparations. According to the situation of epidemic prevention and control, the Provincial Education Department will determine the returning time of students after scientific judgment. What should be done to ensure the safety and health of teachers and students before returning to school?
First of all, the school shall establish and improve the temperature measurement and registration system of school entrance, the daily expectation system, the absence registration and tracking system, the health education system, the sanitation and disinfection system, etc. All schools should fully grasp the health status of teachers and students. Encourage the use of Shandong electronic health passcode and stop returning to school with illness. To implement the mainly responsibility of the school, the major leader in charge of the school shall fulfill the first responsibility of epidemic prevention. Schools should improve the command system of epidemic prevention and control, formulate the epidemic prevention and control plan, and clarify the responsibilities of teachers, students, and parents. 1. Schools should accurately grasp the health status of teachers and students. The school should establish a one-to-one health management and control system, conduct a comprehensive check on all teachers, students, and establish a health ledger. 2. The school needs to accurately grasp each person's 14 days living experience, health status, and suspicious contact experience before returning to school. 3. Special attention should be paid to teachers and students from key epidemic areas. Implement one person, one policy for key personnel identified and make appropriate plans on their returning. Teachers and students who are diagnosed with pneumonia or suspected cases or asymptomatic infections shall not return to school at this moment. The school should make an individualized training plan for students after returning to school in the future. Teachers and students who are still in the key areas of epidemic prevention and control shall not return to school temporarily. Schools should make individualized training programs for students to return to school in the future. When the whole province's opening time is confirmed, the leading group of epidemic control and management in school sites shall determine a specific training program and submit it to the Provincial Education Department for approval before implementation. No school is allowed to open ahead of the time. Before the start of school, it is necessary to make a perfect plan system, including school opening work plan, daily prevention and control plan, education and teaching plan, emergency plan, and public opening response plan to the Provincial Education Department for record and approve. Today, we have Mrs. Li, the Deputy Director of School Health of Shandong Provincial Center for Disease Control and Prevention. In the last video, we learned that in the 2 weeks before the school, students must have health management, and only those who meet the standards can enter the school through scientific judgment. I believe that what parents are most concerned about is how to define those standards and how can the student provide sufficient evidence and health records. Education Department has set strict standards and requirements. Only students who meet the health and safety conditions can return to school safely. For example, students who have been back to the residence for 14 days and have a health and safety record and no recent symptoms, such as fever and cough, can return to school safely. So in the main way, we should do a good job in health management.
What should we pay attention to in this aspect of health management, from school to parents and students? Each school has put forward strict requirements for teachers and students, like checking the daily temperature and the traveling and living experience during the holiday, close contact with suspicious personnel, etc. Parents and teachers and students must truthfully fill in the temperature and living experience and other information so that the school can timely and accurately grasp the health status of each teacher and student and ensure the safety and health of the school. In such a critical period of prevention and control, what should the school do to ensure the safety of life and health of teachers and students before the school starts?
2. School entrance settings.
The health monitoring team and security team of each school should set up a special entrance for returning to school in advance, establish a corresponding number of temperature monitor points, place signs, dynamic detection channels, and install isolation belts according to the conditions of returning students and traffic conditions. At the same time, set up temporary health observation points. When the students come back to school, the school leadership team should coordinate the whole school. The person in charge of a campus emergency response is responsible for the command and the interests of school. The emergency contact person and divisional leaders shall arrive at the registration entrance in advance and make relevant preparations. On the day of returning to school, divisional heads shall remind the students to wear masks and line up orderly, 2 meters apart from each other. When entering the campus, disinfect students' hands with alcohol. If students are allergic to alcohol, they can use wet wipes.
Body temperature will be tested in turn by the health monitoring team. If the health monitoring group finds that the temperature of the student is higher than 37.3 degrees, the divisional leaders shall cooperate with the referral group and the security group to immediately lead the person with abnormal temperature to the entrance of school for temporary observation, accompany and pacify students. The health monitoring group continues to conduct temperature checks to ensure students return to school in an orderly manner. Collect and check students' health information. The security team is responsible for maintaining order, taking control of human flow and traffic safety management around the campus. The referral group will recheck the abnormal temperature again and start the emergency treatment of the epidemic after confirming the abnormal temperature. For the students who are not accompanied by their parents, they should wear masks and immediately call their parents to ask if there is a history of living in care areas of the epidemic, history of travel routes, or history of contact with suspected cases within 14 days. If there is any relevant situation, call 120 to inform the relevant hospital to send a call for reception, and notify the local health and epidemic prevention departments and local education administrative departments. If there is no relevant situation, inform the parents to take them home and seek medical treatment in time. The school doctor shall register well and report to the morning examination. Students who have parents to pick them up and send them back are advised to seek medical treatment time and follow the guidance of medical institutions. If any student fails to return to school on time, the teachers shall contact them by phone. If you are aware of any students who have abnormal body temperature or discomfort, immediately ask the student about the current location. Confirm the student and let them know relevant response measures. In the meantime, report to the head of school and school liaisons to take corresponding measures according to different situations.
3. School safety management. This is a special winter vacation. We have got to know the new coronavirus. At the same time, we need to know the guidance of our daily life in school. In this period of time, how do we conduct psychological counseling as well as our study arrangement next? After returning to school, health safety education should be taught at the first lesson. Students will be prompted to knowledge and the requirements of new pneumonia prevention and control through the school broadcast, internet, poster, and sending publicity information. Schools shall strengthen the humanistic care and psychological counseling for the key and the healing person. All schools shall strictly control the staff and students gathering activities in the campus. For the key places people may gather, prepare ahead in key periods and take preventive measures in time. Strengthen the management of teachers, students, and foreign student groups in the affected areas, internships, off-campus accommodation, medical isolation, etc. Strengthen the guidance of psychological counseling and learning. Implement closed management on campus. Reduce the number of interests and lists. Irrelevant persons outside the school are not allowed to enter the campus. Strictly implement the registration, identity verification, and body temperature test for school staff and students. Those who do not obey the management shall be dealt with seriously. Keep a clean and hygienic campus environment. Disinfect all kinds of places and key parts as required, and restrict the flow of people in libraries, gymnasiums, etc. Strengthen the management of school canteen and students' catering. strictly implement the food safety operation specifications and implement the time sharing and decentralized packing dining. The school should make epidemic prevention plan to ensure the safety and health of teachers and students before school resumption. On the first day back to school, the school is required to make relevant preparations. What else should our parents and schools pay attention to? According to the regulations of the Education Department, the school shall organize different opening times and arrival times on the condition of meeting school opening standards. Each school is required to make scientific and reasonable opening plan, inform parents, teachers, and students to ensure that they can know the process of arriving at the school. Principals and the teachers should get ready in place to help guide the students. Parents and students should carefully read the school opening plan and be familiar with the school opening process to avoid panic and tensions. So what else should schools and students pay attention to when they return to school? The health and safety of teachers and students in the school should always be put in the first place, and the school should strictly implement the campus safety management, such as closed campus management and registration system, maintain daily temperature monitoring and abscess tracking system. Schools shall strictly carry out daily cleaning and disinfection work, and teach students on personal hygiene and health protection. Wash your hands frequently, wear masks. Do not touch your mouth, nose, and eyes with your hands. Students should keep a proper distance from each other to avoid crowding. Pay attention to the protection of school storage of disinfection and protective equipment to avoid contamination.